Pinterest analytics. If you are not a numbers person, scrolling through all of the graphs and options can seem like a daunting task that makes no sense. Personally, for me, I am a numbers person. I love tracking stats and looking at analytics. But if that's not something you're into, the Pinterest analytics page can give you a headache. So in today's video, we are going to be breaking down Pinterest analytics in a super basic, easy to understand way. I'm also going to show you what stats to pay attention to most and which ones don't actually matter. All that and more coming up. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I am a full-time blogger who loves Pinterest. And today we are going to be taking a deep dive into the Pinterest analytics page. So the first thing to note is to actually get access to all of the stats that we are going to be talking about today, you need to have a Pinterest business account set up. It's really easy to set up. I highly recommend you do that if you are trying to drive your traffic away from Pinterest to a blog or a website or a YouTube channel. So if you need help setting up a Pinterest business account, I recently did a video on this topic and I walk you step by step through the whole process. So if you need help with that, go ahead and check out that video. I'll leave it on the iCard here or down in the description below. But if you do have a Pinterest business account, this is the first screen that you are going to see when you open up Pinterest. So today we are going to go up into the Analytics tab. We are just going to be looking at the Overview section. So there is already a lot here when you first open up the Pinterest Analytics, and we're going to go over what everything means right now. So the first thing you're going to see is impressions. So if you go over this little eye, it will actually tell you what the impressions mean. So impressions is the number of times your pins were on screen. So for example, impressions means that somebody was scrolling through their Pinterest feed and your pin happened to show up. Now it doesn't mean that they clicked on it, it just means that when they were scrolling through their feed that your pin was there and they saw it. The next one is total audience. So this is the total number of people who have seen or engaged with your pins. So I believe that this actually correlates with your monthly viewers, which you can see on your Pinterest profile. And we'll go over that a little bit later, but I believe that's what that is connected to. So this is the people that have seen and also engaged with your pins. Before we move on to the next point, if you're getting value out of this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel down below for more content just like this. Now, engagements is one of the things that you really want to be looking at. This is the total number of engagements on your pin, including saves, close-ups, link clicks, and carousel swipes. So there's a lot of terms there that you may not understand. A save is essentially when somebody goes onto your pin and they decide they want to save it to one of their boards. It can either be called a save or it can be called a repin. Those two terms are interchangeable, they mean the exact same thing. Now a close-up is when somebody sees your pin in the feed and they decide to click on it. When they click on it, it will open up more information on your pin, such as the title that you put in and the description. That is what a close-up is. A link click is pretty self-explanatory. It's when they click on your pin and they click on the link that the pin actually leads to. So like your blog post. And a carousel swipe, these aren't really used on Pinterest. I don't see many people actually using them, and I'm not really sure how effective they are because I've never used them myself. But if you have Instagram and you see some people who say swipe to view more and you can go through and swipe through up to 10 photos on Instagram, that's basically what a carousel swipe is on Pinterest. It's just one pin and you can swipe through and see other pins. And then we have the engaged audience. So this says the number of people who engaged with your pins. So total audience is everybody, the impressions and the engagements. Engaged audience is just the engagements that you get on your pins. So the next thing I want to look at is the date range. So if you want to look at stats for a specific time frame, this is obviously what you would use. So you can use either some of the presets here and go from the last 7 days to the last 90, or you can just click and you can see whatever stats that you want customized to you. So let's look at the last month for me. And the last month wasn't that great just because Pinterest did a huge algorithm update and nobody's really sure what's going on with Pinterest. So at this time, Pinterest stats for everybody are basically down. But we're going to check out the last month anyway. So I want to go over to this column now and talk a little bit about what you can see here, because there is a lot of things that you can see in this column, a lot of filters that you can put to filter what analytics you actually want to be looking at. The date range is the first filter, so we are going to look at the last month for me. And now we have view. So view says Only see stats for pins you published on Pinterest, including pins you created from your claimed website and accounts. This doesn't include pins you saved. So basically, this is any pin that you have saved from your own personal website or any of these accounts down here. So if I save a pin that links to any of these: YouTube, Instagram, Etsy, or Business Women Thrive, which is my website, you can click on this and you will only see stats that go to your website, not any pins that you have saved from other bloggers or anywhere else on Pinterest. So that is the first thing that you can do. And it is one of the things that I recommend that you have on, because you really don't want to be seeing stats from what other bloggers are pinning and how well their pins are doing. You want to see how well your specific pins are doing. So it's one of the things that I recommend that you have on. Now we have the content type. See stats about different types of content created by you and or other pinners on Pinterest. Filter to give more details about all your organic, not an ad, and paid, promoted as an ad content. So this filter for me doesn't really matter, and if you don't do any paid content on Pinterest, this filter doesn't matter to you anyway, because there won't be any stats in paid and earned. So basically, organic is just when you pin a pin to Pinterest and you let it do its thing. But if you pay to have a pin promoted or basically pushed out to other people, then you will go to the paid and earned section. I don't do any ads on Pinterest, so this kind of doesn't matter to me. All of my pins are organic. Claimed accounts. So this is the next thing that you can look at, and I think this is a really cool feature because you can actually see where your Pinterest traffic is going. So when I first showed you how to make a Pinterest business account, I mentioned that you could claim a few different accounts, and the accounts that you're allowed to claim is your website, your Etsy, your Instagram, and your YouTube. So this just means that if I click on businesswomenthrive.com, this will show me all of the stats to the pins that are linking to businesswomenthrive.com. If I click on Etsy, this will show me all of the pins that link to my Etsy, Instagram, and YouTube, and so forth. And then you can click on other pins. These are pins that link to either other sites that you haven't claimed, or I think they may be other pins as well, like other pins that you've saved on Pinterest. So this is really cool because now I can see exactly how many pins have gotten clicks and impressions to my Etsy account specifically. And the only reason this red bar is here is because I just recently opened an Etsy, so there isn't anything available for this. Now we can go to device. See stats from different devices from where your Pinterest traffic is coming from. So this is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to see how many mobile users you have, you can go to mobile. If you want to see how many desktop users you have, you can go to desktop, and same thing for tablet. So this will tell you all of the different things. So this is all the people that I have impressions and total audience from on tablet. And then if I go to desktop, I have 97 people on desktop in the last month, because that is the first filter that I have on, and then mobile. So a lot of my views come from people on mobile. Now you can do the source. See activity for pins created and saved by you, plus activity for pins created and saved by others from your claimed accounts. So you can click on all and you can see everything. You can either have your pins, and this is pins that you have personally saved. Or you can go to other pins, which these are pins that other people have saved. So I believe what this is telling me is if somebody goes to your website or they go to any of your claimed accounts and they pin one of your pins from your website, it will show you the engagements from those pins as well. So I believe that's what other pins is. Format is the last thing, and this is just see stats about different formats for your pin traffic. So you can either see all of the pins that you have pinned, or you can see the standard pins. This is just the regular pin that you pin on Pinterest. There's nothing special about it. It's just the normal Pinterest pin. Or you could see the product pins. So these are all of the pins that lead to my claimed Etsy account. You can see video pins. So these are any pins that I have created in Canva that either have a video attached to them. And then you can see story pins. I have not used story pins. I don't think they're really useful at this point because you can't actually link your blog to your story pin, so I don't really see a point to doing them. But they're basically just like Instagram stories or Facebook stories or Snapchat stories. Basically everywhere has a story now, so you can use that feature if you want. I haven't, so obviously there is no data for that. So now let's go up to this first graph here, and let's take a look at this right here. So there is a ton of different options here, and there's actually one that's cut off up here that's called impressions. It's the one that we're clicked on right now. So this is what I mentioned up here. This is just all the times that my pins have been seen. Next we can go to engagements. So this is all the time that people have actually clicked or engaged with my pin, whether it be a close-up, a link click, or whatever. Then you can actually filter just by close-ups. So this is whenever anybody's clicked on your pin. Link clicks, this is how many people have actually clicked on my pins. Saves, you can see how many times your pin has been saved. And then you can see different types of rates and things. So these are actual percentages as opposed to numbers. There's a few different rates here, and then you can see pretty much anything that you can see up here in a graph, and you can just see that. So total audience, you can see day by day what your audience was, and it just gives you a bigger breakdown of all of the numbers that you see up here, so you can see it on a day-to-day basis. There's also this little plus here. So let's say I want to go to impressions and I want to add a plus. Then I can add link clicks. So this way, link clicks are the orange line and impressions are the purple line. So you can see where your link clicks went and where your impressions went. So as you can see, my impressions are down, but my link clicks are up, which honestly does not make much sense, but that is what my pins are doing. So basically that means if you have a lot of impressions but low link clicks, that's probably because your pins, either the design isn't clickable, the title isn't clickable, or the topic that you are pinning isn't really clickable. You want to have a higher link click than you have impressions. That means that people actually want to click on your content as opposed to just seeing it in the feed and scrolling by it. So this is actually a good metric to look at because you can see my pins are actually doing really well despite the fact that the impressions are lower, the link clicks are high. And you can do that with any of these. You can go to total audience and you can go to saves, and it will show you whatever stats are. You can see whatever the purple thing is here, so you know that's total audience, and you can see the saves is over here. And then if you just want to get rid of that, you can just click on the little minus sign, and then you only see one metric. And so you can actually split. So if we go to content type, you can see that my organic versus paid, which of course I don't have any paid, so of course my organic is doing better. So I think this is going to be all of the different stuff down here that you can split it by. So content type, which is the first metric you can look at, claimed accounts, which is all of this. So I can see that my Businesswoman Thrive is doing better than my other pins, my Etsy, my YouTube, and my Instagram. Yeah, let me switch that to link clicks. So I can see based off of the link clicks that I had 29 link clicks to here, 0 to everywhere else. And I can just see where all my link clicks went. And you can do that for everything. So device, you can see where most of your link clicks are coming from on devices, the source that they're coming from, your pins or other pins, and the format, which is video or product or standard or story, which I don't do story or product usually, I do standard and video. So that is pretty cool. And then you can actually see the stats completely broken down here. So my standard pins are getting 677 clicks and my video pins are getting 300. And you can see that up here. The total number of times people have clicked on your pin to a destination on or off of Pinterest. So these are good metrics to look at if you want to see what pins are actually performing for you. If you see that your video pins are performing really well, then maybe you want to do more video pins. If you see that standard pins are doing well, maybe you want to do more of that. So these are just good metrics to look at. And this is really overwhelming, but honestly, the more that you look at it, the easier it gets to understand. So just take a deep breath when you look at these and kind of just look at them. Don't really think too much into it. Just look at it and try to play around with it and familiarize yourself with the different stats that you see on Pinterest, because it will get easier to look at the more you actually look at them. Now we can go to top boards. So if you scroll over this, you can see that this board, Manifesting Your Dream Life, had this many impressions, this many close-ups, saves, link clicks, and engagements. And you can do that for any of the boards, or you can just see the impressions. It shows you right down there what the impressions are, and you can go through and see what boards are performing the best for you. Because you really want to be consistently pinning to the boards that are performing the best for you, because that will have a higher chance for your pins to go viral if that board is doing well. And then you can change, just like up there, you can change if you want to see link clicks. This is one of the most important metrics. You want to see how your pins are actually getting clicked on. And I'm going to switch to, I just want to see Businesswoman Thrive, so we can see the link clicks going to my blog. As you can see, I had 48 link clicks to my blog from Manifesting Your Dream Board. So this seems to be the most popular board right now. And we have 34 link clicks to this one, so we can see all the link clicks to the different boards from here. And then you can see all these other metrics if you want to see saves, engagements, close-ups, whatever. Now we can go to top pins. I have mine set to just Business Women Thrive, but if you changed it to something like Etsy, you would see that the pins would change. So these are the pins that are doing best on my Etsy in terms of impressions, because this is the first filter that we have on. So I'm just going to go to Business Women Thrive again so we can see just from my blog. So if you scroll over the pin, you can see a bigger version of the pin and you can see when it was created. So this was created on August 7th, 2020. The type will either be organic or paid. I don't do paid, so they're all going to be organic. And then you can see the source. So this comes from other pins and my pins. The format is video because typically I only do videos because those tend to do better for me. And you can see the impressions. So this pin was seen 123,189 times on the Pinterest feed, which is wild, by the way. And then if you see a pin that is doing well and you decide that you want to promote that pin, which means pay for it to be pushed out to other people as an ad, you can just easily click the promote button. You can also click on pins that were created in the last 30 days. So basically, if you click on this, the pins may change. And these are pins that you have created and saved in the last 30 days. So now everything has changed, as you can see. This pin was created August 7th. We are on November 2nd. So if we click on this, now my pin is what is the law of attraction. So it's weird that it shows it like this. The pin isn't actually broken though. If you click on it, it will open it up. And it's just because it's a video, it wasn't playing when it saved it. So if you click on it, you can actually see stats specifically for that pin, which we'll go over in a minute. Now, if you click on here, you can see the same filters, engagements, close-ups, link clicks, and saves. If we look at link clicks, we can see how well my pins have done for the link clicks in just the past 30 days or in general. So now quickly, let's just talk about the individual stats for the pin. So let's go to this pin that I have clicked on here. You can see the website link. You can go up here and you can react to it, which I think these reacts are kind of weird. I don't know if they'll use them, but whatever. You can save it, see the title. You can see the reacts that this pin has actually gotten, the description, a little bit about me. And then you can see this bar at the top. So I am the only one that can see this bar at the top here with these stats in them. If you were to pin a pin on Pinterest, you will be the only one that will actually see this bar. If you click on another pin that is not yours, you won't actually see these stats. So these are just for you. And we can see that the video views on this, 66.36K. So the average time people have watched this is 9 seconds. I think that's how long it is, so that's actually good. And it's gotten 437 saves. And as you can see, it's been updated a day ago. If we click on see more stats though, we can actually go in and see what these stats mean. So 66.4K video views is they will count a video view for any 2 seconds of continuous playback of your videos while 50% in view. So anytime a person watches 2 seconds of this video, it will get counted as a view. This 38K is played at 95%. So this is the number of times your video pin reached 95% of their length or greater, including skipping ahead to this point. So this is the number of times anybody has watched 95% of the 9 seconds of the video, even if they skipped a little bit of it. The average playtime is 9 seconds. The total playtime in minutes, so this is, I believe, this is the total playtime this has had. It's had 16.1K total playtime in minutes. The engagements on this pin, which is seen as a full screen pin, like I just showed you, it's had 437 saves, which explains as a save to a board, and 65 link clicks, which is clicks to my pin to a destination on or off Pinterest. So you can actually do the lifetime of the pin, or you can see the pin based off of a certain time frame. So I can see that this in the past 30 days has had 35 link clicks. So that's pretty cool. One last metric I want to show you is this here. So on your Pinterest profile, you can see the followers that anybody has, and you can see the monthly views that somebody has. So you can see that I have right now 464K monthly views, which is actually really low just because Pinterest has just recently changed their analytics. I'm normally over 1 million, but unfortunately, that's just how Pinterest goes sometimes. And I have 1K followers. So you can see if you click on it, you can actually see I have 1,085 followers, and you can go through and actually see all of your followers. So those are really the last two metrics that people see on Pinterest, and those are actually live on your Pinterest feed. Everything else behind here in the back end, people obviously can't see. So now that we have all the stats and all the lingo of Pinterest figured out, now it's time to answer the question of which one of these stats actually matters. I know your head is probably buzzing with all the new information you just learned, but take a deep breath, because to be honest with you, not all stats are created equal. Not all of these stats actually matter. Some of these stats are good to know just for your own personal strategy, but a lot of them don't actually matter. And impressions is the first one I want to talk about. Do impressions actually matter? And impressions leads to having a high monthly viewers, which is the one that is shown on your Pinterest profile. Impressions don't really matter that much, because it doesn't matter if somebody has actually seen your pin if they don't actually click through to your blog. However, you still can use that metric to change your Pinterest strategy. Like I mentioned before, if you are getting a high impression but a low link click, that means that you probably should change your pin designs or the topic you're talking about, or maybe even just the title, so that it's more enticing for the reader to actually click on. So it's not really an important metric by itself, but depending on what you have, if you have, like I said, a high impression and a low link click, it is something you want to look at and think about changing your strategy and what you're pinning. Engagements. Engagements matter a little bit more than impressions, because engagements, like we found out, are when someone either opens your pin, they save it, or they click on it. So it is good to get saves on your Pinterest pins, because that means that they have the potential to be seen and clicked on by more people. And it's good that people are clicking on the close-up of your pin, because it means that they actually want to see a little bit more on that pin. But those still don't matter a whole ton, because those still aren't link clicks to your website. They are good to know though, because if you see that somebody is saving the pin but they're not clicking on it, that just could mean that you need to tweak your strategy just a little bit, because it has piqued somebody's interest enough that they want to save it, but it hasn't piqued their interest enough to actually want to click on it. Now we get to the most important metric, which is link clicks. If you're on Pinterest for your blog, the thing that you want most is link clicks, which might be pretty obvious. You want to get clicks to your blog. You want to take people off of Pinterest and onto your blog or your Etsy or your YouTube channel or whatever it is that you are promoting. Link clicks are the most important, because that means that people have seen your pin, they have stopped the scroll, they have decided to click on it and actually go through to your site. Now, all the other metrics on Pinterest are still important. It is nice to know that your video pins are doing better than your story pins, or it is nice to know that you are getting engagements, but you're just not getting the link clicks. All of these metrics will help you decide where to go next in your Pinterest strategy. But here's the thing about Pinterest. It has been super glitchy lately, like I've mentioned. On a good day on my blog, I was getting 300 clicks to my blog just from Pinterest last month, and I had gotten up to 1.5 million monthly viewers. And now I'm lucky if I get about 80 clicks to my blog on Pinterest, and I'm down to about 400K in monthly viewers. But Pinterest is not the only thing that matters. There are plenty of things that you can do to get traffic to your blog from other sources, and ultimately, link clicks is not the metric that matters the most. It's the amount of income you are making. My views for last month were the lowest they've been in a long time. However, my income was the highest it's ever been. So sometimes even the amount of blog views that you get don't actually matter. The metric you really want to be looking at more than anything if you are looking to turn your blog into a business is the amount of money you are making. So when you see that your Pinterest analytics are looking really low, even like mine were, that doesn't necessarily correlate with how well you are actually doing. Especially when you can get link clicks to your blog from other places like Google, Instagram, and Twitter. So don't beat yourself up if you don't understand Pinterest analytics right away, or if you aren't getting the link clicks that you want to see from Pinterest. Just keep trying. And if you are struggling with Pinterest and you want to learn more about it, feel free to check out the playlist that I have created of a ton of different Pinterest tips and tricks videos, which you can click on right here. Or if you want to see any other videos that I have, you can click or tap the screen right here to check out that video. If you got value out of this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel down below for more content like this. And I will see you next Thursday. Bye!